Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
When I started in the show, they said to me, "You're going to be doing 8 shows a week. You might want to consider getting back in shape." I said, "Okay." I never was in shape, but I'll do the best I can. As I get older, I realize that it's important for me to lose more weight, for me to be healthier, to learn how to eat healthy. I never learned how to eat healthy. And I knew I had a long journey ahead of me. When I lost 100 pounds and people said to me, "Wow, we can really see it in your face." Thank you. How big was my head? Apparently I was the Kool-Aid man and nobody ever said anything to me. Oh yeah, Kool-Aid. That's John. His head's the size of a manhole cover. We don't talk about it though.
And it's like whoever you started lifting with, they knew chest and tricep day, back and bicep day, leg day that everybody skipped, shoulders, and then they'd hit arms again, and that was their week.
I used to mix it up. I would do, I wouldn't do like all push exercises on the same day. I would do chest and bis and then back and tris.
Dude, you were a rebel.
I was, man.
That's a rebel.
It just made sense to me though, because that way you're not burning out one muscle group.
Right.
You know, like you can, because what I was worried about is I have bad shoulders. Like if I lose a weight like halfway through something, like I could actually fuck myself up.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that to happen because it happened one time. I was doing just shoulder press with dumbbells.
Like
and
slip.
It like slipped out. And I just dropped it and it fucking hurt, man. So I was like, if I burn out all my like my biceps and like my back on the same thing, like I'm more likely to get hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm really going to hurt myself if I do it. So I was like, why don't I do it this way? That way it makes more sense. You get a good pump. You know, that was the way I saw it.
That's smart. And that it's intuitive because like, you know, when it comes to like injuries, this, that, the other, you're always more likely to get hurt when you're fatigued.
Yeah.
So if you don't, and you can get stronger without putting yourself over fatigued. I mean, you're going to fatigue when you're training, this, that, the other, but like, you know, there's a way to do it, program it. It's called periodization, and it's just a more thought out process of how to handle it. So you try to keep yourself healthy.
I'm sure that's something that like you'll learn as you learn about all like exercise physiology and everything.
Yeah, that was actually like, it's funny because they teach you the theoretical model like your last year of college, and then once you actually get into it, you're like, none of this works. None of this works at all. They teach you the basic, and I don't want to get super, super technical, but the basic periodization model they teach you is called linear periodization, where, you know, you start out with higher reps, higher training volume. Volume is sets times reps, lower weights, and then you descend down into higher intensity, lower volume. But it doesn't really work. And it especially doesn't work for an athlete who has to compete. So you have to kind of figure your way around it. And then there are other periodization models that you eventually learn. And then you kind of figure out what works for you.
Does it like not work as a whole? Like the whole thing just is kind of bogus, or it just only works for some people?
It works for some people, and it works really well in theory. And the way they sell it to you is like, wow, this makes sense. You know, as practices are ramping up, and as you know, the necessity for skill practice works, because, you know, a lot of the nature of what I do is always keeping in mind that these are athletes who have to play a game. But as that's happening, you know, they're peaking, and then we get them into their season. But what happens after that? Like, do you think that you're just gonna keep them strong for a 16-week season by training super heavy? You're going to fry your kids.
Yeah.
And then there's also times where you need to back off. And there's times when you need to hit the pedal. So there's a smarter way of doing it. And that's kind of one of those things that I'm still learning 10 years into the game. What's a smarter way to do it?
Well, it seems like it's like that baseline model, and then you tweak it as needed.
Yeah.
As per, you know, your clients.
Absolutely.
Like, that seems like.
Yeah. And you know, in my world, you know, I don't necessarily have clients. I have kids who have to come train with me. But, you know, I look at the coaches that I deal with as clients. part of it is selling to them so they don't fuck the kid up before the kid gets to me, because coaches love to do that. Because my buddy Jake always says it's like the shiny new toy, right? So by the time the coach gets their kids back, especially at the collegiate level where like coaches aren't allowed to contact student athletes, there's like a dark period there, right? It's like the shiny new toy. It's like, well, shit, mom bought me this brand new Power Ranger for Christmas, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to smash it into the fucking ground. And that's what they do to their kids, and they expect them to be like, it's the fastest version of this kid they've ever seen, the biggest, the strongest, and they don't know how to handle it appropriately. So that's part of your deal as a strength coach, is kind of selling it to them that they don't want to, burn out the Ferrari on day one.
That makes sense.
I
think we should probably give people a little intro here, because it's already recording.
That's great. Yeah, I figured we were already
we went right in, but it's all good. Welcome back to A Pod Amongst Men, people. I'm your host, Steve B. How are you? Good to hear from you. Theoretically, that is. I'm here with my man, returning guest, Mike S., our strength and conditioning aficionado, as I like to call him.
Try.
I called him that one time just now.
That's it right now. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. But we want to talk about something that's it's informative but fun at the same time. I know a lot of guys probably have a lot to say about this. Probably have a lot of feelings on this one. So I'm like going to the goddamn gym, man. Talk about some gym fails, some horror stories.
I have a couple really good stories for you. Yeah.
Some stories of glory even.
Yes.
But I definitely have a few fails that we're going to go over tonight. But like the first thing I want to talk about is we'll just kind of share our stories about how we first started going to the gym, like when you're young, because I must have been a freshman in high school the first time I really set foot into a gym with the intent of lifting. My dad took me, and he was just like, oh yeah, you come in here, and it's all like old guys, you know what I mean? It's all the guys that hang out there, like the lounge lizards of the gym.
Yeah, they want to go into the sauna afterwards and really sweat it out.
Yeah. Like they stay at the same machine for about 45 minutes talking. They did one set. No, I'm getting ready to do my next set. Yeah, you've been here the whole time. I could literally see your 5 o'clock shadow growing in front of me. But that was the kind of gym experience I first had, and it's just like I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. Like I'll just find something else to do. I'll like go run or hit a heavy bag or something. Like this is stupid. This is boring. And if I'm gonna learn it, I don't think these are the guys. Not to knock my dad. My dad was serious, but sure. That was what it is for me. And I think a lot of people, the first time they go to the gym, like they either find that they love it or they hate it. And a lot of people, like, they get a bad taste in their mouth. That's why you have places like Planet Fitness existing.
Yeah.
Where they literally have commercials that make fun of the whole gym experience.
Right,
right. Because so many people just look at it, and just scoff. Like, yeah, fucking gym. Bunch of muscle-bound retards. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really what it is, even though those guys do exist.
They definitely exist.
Yeah.
They definitely exist, but they're not, they're few and far between.
Yeah, I don't like when people try to generalize that that's all it is. This is not, Venice Beach, California. You're not at Muscle Beach. Like this is a regular gym with regular people. Most of the people you could walk in never having worked out, and you'll probably be somewhere in the middle. Like that's what I think most gyms are like.
Yeah, I think the gym experience, it's nerve-wracking for some people until you realize like nobody really gives a shit. Like nobody cares about you. Like they just care that you're not in their way.
Yeah.
And as long as you can kind of abide by that, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, just don't be a douche.
Yeah. I think that's like number 2 rule in life is don't be an asshole.
Yeah. It's that easy. It's that general of a rule. Don't be an asshole.
It's easy. Yeah.
But what about you? How did you first start working out?
It's really funny how I got started on the path that I'm on now is because I can remember the first time I really got brought into the gym, and you know exactly where it was.
Keep talking. I'm going to pour you a glass here.
Oh, thank you. What was the name of there was a gym in Bridgewater, right in the Fridays parking lot.
That was Fit Zone. That was Fit Zone. I first went as well.
I got dragged in there by Kenny Butters.
I know the name.
He used to bartend with me, at that spot.
Oh, okay.
In the same parking lot.
Which, by the way, that place was my home away from home for several years.
Yeah. I think it was a sanctuary for a lot of people.
Yeah, something about it, and it's we could say where it is, right?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I just didn't know. Yeah,
it was at the TGI Fridays, which in suburbia, like nobody, we don't really have so many of the the local dive bars. Sometimes
that was the local spot, and it was like unrivaled up until Houlihan's came up.
Salud. Chindan.
Oh, that's tasty, right? It's really good. But yeah, Fridays was unrivaled for a while.
Yeah, that was the spot
in the Bridgewater scene, and we're bartending. I was bartending with Kenny. He's like, and Mike, you're really frail. You look terrible. Like, he's like, you're always pale. You look sick. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why don't you get in the gym? And looking back on it now,
yeah, you look like shit, man. Yeah, you're all hairy. Your back's not waxed. You haven't tanned. You're all white. What the fuck is wrong with you?
And what's funny too is looking back on it, I remember exactly how big I was the first time I walked into a gym. I was 124 pounds. I was 5 feet 10 inches, and I was talking to one of my high school kids, one of the kids I trained like last week, and he's like, "Oh, coach, I'm 145. I'm big," and I'm like, "Dude, you're frail." I'm like, "Wait a second. You're way bigger than I ever was. I should shut my mouth."
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't like the guys that like they try to show off their abs, and it's like, yeah, it's easy to have a six pack when you weigh 98 pounds.
Yeah,
like, come on, bro. That's
we
not an accomplishment. You're just malnourished. Yeah.
My buddy Jake, who I used to work with, had a saying that abs on a skinny guy are about as impressive as big tits on a fat chick. And I don't mean that. I don't want to put anyone down. That's not out of my mouth. That's out of Jake's mouth.
Yeah, you did not say that.
I did not say it, but.
I used to break Drew's balls all the time because Drew, anybody listening, you've heard Drew. He's one of my closest friends since the 4th grade. But he's always been a skinny guy, like always very lean. Guy could eat whatever he wants. He's one of those dudes. And he's always got he used to always have his shirt off. I'm like, that's not impressive, bro. That's not impressive.
Get your shirt on, Drew.
Yeah. Now he's actually like in shape because he can go like fucking climb up the side of my house with his bare hands.
Yeah, like he repels trees for a living.
Yeah. No, like he works now. Like, but back in the day, like that's not fair. That guy didn't have to do anything. Like me, like I have one, cheeseburger from McDonald's, and next thing you know, I'm pouring over the side of my jeans.
Just crying.
Yeah. Well, since I'm crying, might as well have another one.
Yeah. Wash this regret down a nice ice cream sundae.
Yeah.
That's how
Sprinkle some fries on those cupcakes. But anyway, so
yeah, Fit Zone. Fit Zone is where my experience began, and then. I kind of floated in and out, and then I moved away from Bridgewater up to Paramus, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Paramus is home to Gold's Gym in Paramus, which is a pretty Bergen County, like, legendary gym. And I trained there for a while, and that's where, like, I kind of got really baptized by, like, the gym idiots. Mm-hmm. Like, watching these dudes just ego lifting all over the place. And at the time I was competing in jiu-jitsu. I wasn't the biggest guy. I was weight class, but I loved to train. And that's really how I got started on my journey. It was 2008. I'm in Gold's Gym Paramus. I'm like, there's got to be a better way to train. Let me seek it out. And I read this book called Training for Warriors by Martin Rooney. And I never forget, at the end of it, I was wondering, I was kind of floating in my mid-20s, like, what am I going to do with myself? And I'm like, you know what? What did this guy go to school for? Because it sounds like his job kicks a lot of ass. And
I can just see it now. There's like a movie montage. It's like the opening of the movie 300. You're just like fighting off wolves and shit.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I got down the path. I found out what he did, and I went to school for it, and then here I am. I worked out in some cool spots like Gold's Gym Paramus, which I thought was a really cool spot to train in for a little bit, and then obviously the weight room and colleges I've worked in, and now I'm so spoiled, so overly spoiled with like my training environment. I literally train in a like world-class training facility with nobody there. Like when there's no one there, I train. I have 6,000 square feet of like incredible equipment.
You get to pick the music. That's all that matters.
That's it. Yeah. I still put it in my Bluetooth headphones.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't want anyone hearing my stuff.
I know.
I'll get yelled at.
There was this BuzzFeed video that came out years ago, and it was like, what if you could hear people's inner thoughts at the gym? And like it was like all like these little short like clips of people doing like funny shit. And one of them was a guy, he was like fixing his headphones, and he was getting ready. Like, it looks like he was getting ready for classic tying his shoes, and there was a girl sitting next to him, and he leans over, he's like, I'm sorry. Can you hear what I'm listening to? Can they tell that I'm listening to the soundtrack to Cats? Is it audible? And I'm just thinking, like, yeah, I have a couple weird songs.
Yeah.
I had a couple songs from the Footloose soundtrack.
Really?
On my playlist. Yeah. Just imagine myself like working out in an abandoned warehouse, doing backflips over tractors and shit. But nah, the
When
music.
in reality, it's like nothing. You're just like curling.
Meanwhile, I'm just like sweating all over the person next to me on the treadmill. I think that for me, the music was always the biggest thing. Like if I've never been to any kind of gym where I could pick the music, that was always helpful.
Yeah.
And like one of the things I wanted to ask was, what kind of gyms have you gone? Have you worked out at? Like, what kind of things have you done? What kind of programs? Like you were saying that you have access to this world-class gym. Like, that's got to be awesome. Like, I've been to different places. Like, I was in South Beach one time on a trip in Miami, and they have that little workout area on the beach where you could do all like the, like the bar masters workouts and doing like muscle ups and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I've done that.
That's incredible.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I've done CrossFit. Like I've done Orange Theory, like all that same shit. Like there's always some kind of program.
Orange Theory sounds like it's fun though. Like I feel like Orange Theory, like if you and the wife want to like go work out on a Saturday morning before you go to Starbucks and grab like a pumpkin spice latte, Orange Theory is the place you go to.
Honestly, it's as far as a workout and exercising, burning calories, it fucking does the job.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it's
SOB. Listen, it's like CrossFit. It's as hard as you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like you can push as hard as you want to push, and the better you get, the harder you push. So you never really plateau. You know what I mean? I mean, if you did, like, you'd have to be one cock diesel motherfucker because, like those those treadmills, they only go up to 12, but I've seen people run like top speed for like the whole thing. I'm like, you're sick. Like you're a sick person.
God bless you.
But no, I mean it's good. It's not as far as like for guys. There's not a lot of heavy lifting. Like the weight training is not.
It's a lot of like TRX stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So they kind of pepper it in with like the conditioning to keep the heart rate elevated, so you can burn
like,
your calories.
It's definitely good. I definitely feel like I've exercised. That's a good a cardiovascular workout. But as far as lifting for strength, it's not really.
What's the group dynamic like?
It's mostly women.
Okay.
It's mostly women.
Are they all like positive and encouraging each other, or is it very individual and kind of just like, I'm looking at my name there, I'm in the orange zone?
It's kind of. I mean, it's kind of like that. It's very individual. Like I kind of get weirded out if somebody tries to talk to me while I'm there.
Yeah.
Like we were there one time, and it was like a real long run we had to do. And we finished up, and they were moving to the next station. And the girl that was next to me, she's like, "Oh, that was great job." I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Don't fucking talk to me.
Yeah, like it was like it threw me off.
Yeah.
My wife's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "That girl told me good job." She's like,
"Who the hell does she think she is?"
Yeah, but it's like CrossFit. I feel like is way more group.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Group oriented. Where like one person will finish and then they're cheering on the rest of the people, and you're really trying to psych each other up and help one another. Whereas Orange Theory is more just like, all right, do your thing, watch your points, watch your heart rate, and that's about it. And I just don't like, my only qualm with it, well, I have two qualms, is that it's not a lot of strength training.
Right.
Or at least serious strength training that's for a male body.
Yeah.
And I can't pick the music.
Yeah, you got to remedy that.
You can't wear headphones.
Picking the music's huge.
Yeah, like you can't wear headphones because you need to hear what the instructor's saying.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get a cool instructor. There's one guy there named Brendan. Shout out to Brendan. But he'll, if I request a song, sometimes he'll play it.
That's nice. I get that's like a wedding DJ. It's like, do you have to slip him a 20? Like,
no,
here you go, Brendan. Like
he's
really
cool.
like
I make sure I don't request more than one song per class. But like the first time I did it, I'm like, let me just throw this out there. I'm like, yo, can you play Led Zeppelin? Like play Immigrant Song. Like I just watched Thor Ragnarok last night. Like,
yeah,
it's really gonna. He's like, yeah, all right. How'd that go? I'm like, you really gonna make me sing it right here? Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's like, oh yeah, I think I know that one. Like, yeah, thanks, asshole.
I feel like an idiot now.
Yeah. Well, he played it, and I was all psyched up.
That's great.
So
I'm gonna open up my lift tomorrow with that song. That's gonna start it off.
Wow. That is like, I'm not even a big Led Zeppelin fan. Like normally, like my requests are somewhere like freaking rap. Like,
yeah,
I requested Run the Jewels, and he's like, oh, what's that? You never heard of that?
It's on my playlist, dog.
Oh, dude, that's like gym music.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So what other kind of stuff have you done?
So, well, I think dissecting your question, just going kind of a little bit back to the start of it, I'm going to go to my favorite.
Okay.
Not like, so we're beyond Fit Zone now. This is a couple years ago. This is leading into my back surgery. I was working at a Division I college. I could say names, right? It doesn't matter.
As long as you're not trashing them.
Yeah, no. I was working. Yeah. I'm about to talk Villanova up right now.
Yeah, no,
I was working. Fine. I was a head strength coach for Olympic sports at Villanova. The head football strength coach is a good friend of mine, and we created this environment where we would bring our interns in, and we would baptize them with fire. And part of the deal with our interns,
we literally burned them.
Yeah, I feel bad. Sorry, Eric, but your leg will grow back skin eventually. But we were bringing these kids in. We bring about 5 or 6 a semester, and they would commit for the semester. And part of training was you had to participate in staff training. Now, I was jacked up, man. I couldn't do half the stuff that these guys were doing. Like, they were pushing crazy weight. But the fact that I was in the room with them, in the environment, getting better how I could get better, I genuinely think that was the most important aspect of my training ever. The build up to my surgery, because I went down, I had surgery, and I popped right back. And it was because I trained hard, intelligently beforehand, and I had an awesome group of training partners to help kind of push me through.
Let me ask you this. What was your mental motivation to start working out and get in shape? Because
well,
I mean, it's probably similar to mine, as with most people.
Goal number one of anyone who isn't competing in anything is to look good naked.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I wanted, especially when I started training, when Kenny Butters was talking to me. Because in my early 20s, I had no idea how to talk to women, how to interact with them. Like, I thought I did, but I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Let
me just look as good as possible, and hopefully that'll do most of the work.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell my wife's thinking being with me still, but that's her cross to bear, really.
She's a big girl. She knows what she did. Now, for me,
grown up girl, bad connotation.
Oh, yeah, well, I meant that in the best possible interpretation.
That's right. She still doesn't care about me being here, so she'll never listen to this.
Oh, that's okay. My wife listens. She kind of is. I feel like, she's going to hear this, so
yeah.
I know she's probably waiting for me to say something like that I shouldn't say. She's like, oh, I listened to the episode today. Anything you want to tell me?
Yeah.
No, she's cool.
Ashley's just so unimpressed with me. Yeah. She's just like, I listen to you talk all the time at home. I don't want to listen to you talk to anyone else. She's like, you're annoying.
A funny. This is unrelated, but it's kind of what we're talking about now. My wife, she says she likes listening, and it's she's right about it. Like, it's kind of like I open up more on here, because with her, and I don't know, maybe you feel this, because I care so much about how my wife sees me and what she thinks of me.
Oh yeah.
I try to choose my words very carefully when I'm around here. So she says I open up more here, which is true, because it's more like a little more laid back. It's friends, It's like if you don't like what I said, what's the big deal? Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna walk out? It's fine.
And nobody actually gets upset about what you say.
Exactly. Nobody's that invested in it.
Yeah.
But that's my wife. Like, I love her more than anything.
She's very invested in you.
Oh, well, yeah. She's invested in me. I'm invested in her.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say something to her that's gonna make me look like a total dickbag.
Right.
So I try to choose my words carefully, but sometimes there is no careful way to say something, so you just don't say anything. So that's, I'm working through it. I'm trying to be better.
Dude, it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process.
But anyway.
But yeah, so the reason I got into all of it at first was to look good naked.
It wasn't like a breakup?
No. It was like a serious drought.
Okay.
So, yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, it was a serious. I'm 20 years old when I really started taking it seriously. And I didn't even really. There was a breakup when I was 25. That was like the catalyst for. I wouldn't even call it a breakup. It was stupidity all around. Just stupid.
It's a bad experience.
A bad experience.
Or an experience that ended poorly.
Friendships. It ended poorly. Friendships were ruined. A lot about I think especially in your mid-20s, when you know what it's like to be a male in your mid-20s, like you're literally a ship out to sea. There's no lighthouse anywhere. You don't know what's going on. And then on top of it, I
kind of feel like that's just like life.
yeah. And then on top of it, I don't think I was the most emotionally anchored individuals. I think there was a lot of emotional maturity that I didn't really take seriously until my later 20s. So I didn't know how to handle what I was going through. So the only thing I knew to do was to work. And it was the only thing that alleviated the physical anxiety. I had like super bad anxiety.
Okay.
When I say anxiety, like panic attacks, 3 a week.
Oh, damn, man.
Yeah, it was bad. I ended up having I can't believe I'm talking about this right now. I ended up having to go into therapy for about 3 years to help like sort it out. And ironically enough, as since that time, that was in 2007 when I moved up to Bergen County and kind of got things together. I haven't had one. It's been 12 years since I had a physical panic attack, and training really helped. It was the only thing I could do that I was able to like physically exert all those feelings that I was having that I didn't understand how to process. And then jiu-jitsu really helped too. Jiu-jitsu was the ultimate game because it's physical chess. So you could sit in your room. Instead of ruminating about like, what this person said to you or how you should, everybody does that where like we kick ourselves for how we responded to someone.
Sitting in the shower or something, like thinking about what you said 6 years ago at a dinner.
And you're yelling at a tile, like, go fuck yourself, tile. Like, you don't know how to handle it.
Such an idiot.
You should have said it. But with jiu-jitsu, you don't get that option because once you start training and you immerse yourself in it, it's like, oh man, when he grabbed my lapel, I should have broke the grip. I should have established foot contact on the hip. So you're thinking about that and all that stuff. There's no heavy emotions baggage to that. No,
you're in the moment. That's it. That's the only thing that exists.
Yeah. So that I think jiu-jitsu and training helped, and then coming out of that was like I read the book and I'm like, boom, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going, and that started the path. And so now it's great sharing the gift of training and biomechanics and movement and all that kind of stuff, but also like the real nuts and bolts about like, no, this is. You got some darkness in you. You need to get it out in here.
Well, for me, that was always the biggest driver, is that everybody has negativity and like just bad thoughts in them. Like you need some kind of outlet, though, and I think that's where a lot of people run into trouble. They have no outlet for that, all that ugliness and that negativity inside them. And I feel like with exercise, especially, that's a perfect opportunity to let it out in a positive way.
Yeah,
because you use that anger, that sadness, you use it all in the gym. You just exert yourself, just give everything you got.
Yeah.
Whether it's you're trying to put up like the heaviest weight you can, or you're trying to run just until your eyes bleed.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I dealt with a lot of. I don't want to call it depression because I don't want to minimize other people who had real issues with that. But just sadness, loneliness, like breakups, like rejection, and it's just I was left alone with those feelings, and it just feels like it's all bottling up inside you, and that was the way I could get it out.
Yes.
I didn't want to just sit there and let it poison me. So I would go to the gym, I would work out, I would do these crazy workouts where I would just run, and when I feel like it's like I got everything out of me, then I crank the treadmill up even higher, and I just push it, and like I want it to hurt, I want to like scream inside my head, because when it's over, I feel clear.
It's peaceful.
Yeah, I'm at peace now.
Yeah,
and that was how I got it out.
It's an incredible outlet. You talk to a lot of people who get like crazy about training and who really enjoy it, and it's all the same thing. It's all people who are. It's the safest place for a man to be a rage monster.
Yes,
you could be as angry as you want. You can be as upset as you want. It doesn't matter, because there's a moment. This is not my thought, so I'm gonna. This is not mine, but I buy into it 100%. Dave Tate, owner of EliteFTS.com, Under the Bar. He wrote a great book called Under the Bar. Everybody should read that book, and it's literally about what we're talking about right now. He calls it the void. Mm-hmm. There's a moment. So I squatted a weight on Friday that I haven't touched since before surgery, like 3 years before surgery, and I was nervous. But in that moment, right, when I was like, all right, belt's on, I'm ready, my hands are touching the bar, and I'm about to go, there's nothing else. Yeah. You're in a void. You're not thinking about, what you need to do at home. You're not thinking about all the pressures. You're not thinking about responsibilities at work. You're not thinking about anything. All you're thinking about is, I'm about to get under this weight, and it's gonna be heavy, and I'm nervous, and I better do this the right way. That's it. You're just thinking. You're very compartmentalized, and you're just thinking about that one thing. And it's a great time. Those couple seconds that you get, nothing else compares to that.
Yeah,
because you get to throw it all away, and you get to focus on something that's productive and that's going to help you.
Well, you used a great word. You compartmentalize it. Like for that time you're at the gym, that's all that matters. You could just shut off all that other shit. And I didn't like bringing a phone with me. Like I used to leave my phone and bring one of those old chintzy iPods.
Yeah,
like the small ones, like iPod minis or whatever it was, because I didn't want the distraction from the outside world. Yeah. Like that's the time to let it all out. And it's just very cathartic, you know?
We have a no phone rules.
It's a great rule.
We have a no phone rule in our gym. And sometimes I'll catch a kid on it. And I always give him the lecture, is that all these people around you are a distraction from you improving yourself in this moment, right? Every text message you get is someone trying to take something from you. Put the phone down. They can wait.
Mm-hmm. You know what's really a shame? That's a great explanation and a great way to say it. And sometimes you're just too young. It goes in one ear, out the other.
Yeah, and sometimes you reach them. Sometimes you reach them. I'll say like the success rate on that is about 30%.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's
right around where I was thinking.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, like what's cool is that they'll always come back to you years down the line, and they'll be like, "Dude, you were so right about this, coach."
Well, it's like that seed. What you're saying to them, they might not receive it right then, but you're planting that seed in there. And it might grow in a week. It might grow in 6 years. You never know.
Yeah.
But they're going to remember it. You know? Eventually, it's going to come into that, you know what? Coach Mike said that. Like, fuck, he was right. Like, I should reach out to him on Facebook.
Yeah. I get emails. I get emails from former athletes all the time. And like, dude, I can't believe. And so what's funny is you don't know, when you're in a situation where you're like in a leadership position with young people, you don't know what's going to stick. Right. So like what I think is like, oh, this is my go-to. This is what definitely gets them. They think it's stupid.
Yeah.
But the random thing I say to them when they're like jawing at me and I'm jawing back at them, that's in those moments, though, that might stick with that kid for years.
Bro, that happens. That just happened to me at work like 2 weeks ago. Like I got into an argument with my boss and there was an apprentice nearby and I said something to him and I didn't think of it. Normally I would just let it go. I wouldn't argue with the guy. But he called me on like an off day, and I was like, I wasn't in the mood for it, and I thought he was wrong. Like his approach was wrong, like the way he was handling the situation. I was like, bro, how the fuck is anybody supposed to learn if you don't answer the question when they ask you? If all you're gonna do is break their balls and make fun of them?
Yeah,
like
people need to learn.
Yeah, people need to learn, and not everybody learns at the same time. Not everybody's done the same thing over their career. Go ahead, help yourself. But you know what I mean? And I just like I'm asking you a question because I don't know, and if all you're gonna do is break my fucking balls about it, there's no point in me asking you. And I'll just guess and maybe do it wrong. Okay? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
But I said that was basically the whole conversation. And like he's not a bad guy. He just, like I said, called me on an off day.
Yeah.
But the apprentice is right there. So I didn't think anything of it. We went on. He told me what I needed to know. We let it go. At the end of the day, we're walking to the parking lot. He goes, man, you said some shit, man. I was like a bar, like what you said. Like, you're still thinking this, bro. I've been thinking about that all day.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but you're right. Like, it's the things you're not trying to make stick that do stick.
Yeah, and there's a big responsibility in that, because you reveal yourself a lot, like, and you don't know you're doing it, but you get to reveal your character quite often with how you speak to other people when they're watching you, like the whole dynamic in there. It's something, and an apprentice looking up to you because that guy looks up to you. Mm. So for him to take that and he's like, "Oh man, Steve killed it out there today."
And I'll be honest, like as far as what I do, I'm far from like the best guy there. Like I don't brag. I'm not one of those guys who thinks he's hot shit and really sucks. Like I know I'm not that great. Like I'm just trying to keep my head above water. But it's nice when you take the time to teach somebody, share your knowledge with people, even if it's just a little bit. Like, but people appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I try to. I don't know how that's related. Whatever.
That's all right. We're on a tangent.
We're going back
it's
to the
podcast,
gym.
dude.
Yeah, whatever it is. But it is what it is. But going back to the gym. I wanted to talk about like gym nightmares, like shit that happens, embarrassing stuff, like the funny side of it. Because, we had our serious episode, me and you. Like, I want to talk about the fun stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
So much shit has happened to me over the years I've been going to the gym. Like, for instance, on my 30th birthday, Louis, my buddy Louis.
Yeah, I know.
They threw me a surprise party. Like my parents, my friends, everybody was there, and they all got up and decided to share like embarrassing stories about me. So Louis' wife Tati, she stands up because she was going to the gym with me for a little while, and she said, "I want to tell the story of Steve falling off the treadmill at the gym."
Oh, please. Are you going to share it with us now? Please.
Listen, it happens. I have a tendency when I run, like if I'm running for a little while, I zone out, and sometimes I kind of shift from side to side on the treadmill. And I stepped a little off the the tread a bit, and I hit the side, and I just that thing fucking rocketed me back. I had forgot.
How many people were watching?
I don't know. I tried not to think about that.
Yeah,
like it was embarrassing, and it hurt. And she was right next to me because she was trying to get used to working out, and I was going to the gym all the time, so I was like, listen, at least we'll go at the same time. We might not be doing the same things, but at least you're not alone,
right?
You're
there, we're there together.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that was embarrassing. I saw my buddy fall off the stationary bike.
Okay.
Like he was leaning back, just kind of like casually doing it,
and he just kept going back.
He leaned back a little too far and tried to save himself, and like tried to grab the handle, but he was already too far, so he was just like waving his hands in the air as he was slowly falling back.
Oh, that's nice.
And he didn't say anything. He
just pawing.
Yeah, just pawing in the air, and you could see like the fear in his eyes. Like, oh no! And he didn't even. I'm like, bro, you all right? He didn't say anything. He got up, walked right out.
That's awesome.
It was great.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, I've seen some really funny things, and this is where our generation, though we're like millennials, looking back at the younger generation, because I train kids who are far younger than me. You're always like, man, they're so stupid. They do some stupid shit. This is like I have the best story about this. If anyone out there in the interweb knows what a glute ham raise is, there's a GHD, glute ham developer, glute ham raise machine, whatever.
That's the thing where you lay forward and like curl your legs.
Yeah, and you come up. So everybody, if you don't know what it is, use Google. Go to Google, type in glute ham developer. Now, the way you set your feet in that piece of equipment is there are pads, so you have to slide your feet around them. It locks you in at your ankle, and it locks you in at your midfoot so that you can't flop out of it. I had a kid, mind you, this kid is a very successful businessman now.
Oh, I've seen this thing.
Yeah,
this is the thing. I used to do this to do like back
raises,
back extensions.
You could do back raises, glute ham raises, a bunch of different kind of stuff. So this kid
not cheap either.
No. We have at Nova we had 8 of them.
God damn. Okay, I'm sorry.
So this kid hops on.
I need Jamie Vernon here. I need young Jamie.
Yeah.
I need somebody to Google all this shit.
Yeah, that sounds like maybe your son.
Yeah, no, he's gonna Google Pokemon the whole time. And It's gonna be useless. No offense to him, but
it happens.
He's only 8. He's not there yet. Some things I don't want him to Google.
Yeah. A glute ham raise is pretty benign, but so. Now, imagine you have to set your feet inside in between the two pads. Mm-hmm. Now, one would say that if you set your feet on top of said pads, there's nothing holding your ankle in so that when you lean forward, you go ass over tin cups. And this kid, who's a very bright, like really academically intelligent young man, hops in, gets set up on it, grabs a 45-pound weight plate, hugs it to his chest, dips down to start his back raise, and flips out of the whole thing. Smacks his head on the floor. The plate comes down on his chest. I wish we were videotaping that day. I wish, because it was one of the funniest things ever. Later on, my coworker referred to that young man as a beacon of misfortune.
I had one time me and Drew were at this boxing gym we used to go to. And they had the whole giant rack with all it's like 10 heavy bags set up, and I was still like totally green, like I was only like my second or third class, so it was like the end, the one round. The coach was like, "All right, you guys go hit the bag for a round." So we're working the bag, and I hold off like the nice, like real strong straight right hand, and the fucking chain broke on the bag. Now, I could sit here and tell you like it was all because of my straight right hand, but you and I and all the listeners know that that's bullshit. Yeah. It was just
an
lucky,
accumulation.
Yeah, it was just a lucky shot at the right time. But bro, like you should have seen my face. Like you would have thought I thought I'm gonna get in trouble. I broke the bag, and they're gonna like they're like it happens. You're all right. And I was like I was hoping maybe somebody would kind of be like, oh, that was really cool. You know?
Yeah, in your head, you're like, I'm the world champ.
Yeah, they're going to like carry me out on their shoulders and shit like Rudy. No, they were just like, oh, yeah, it happens. It's an old bag. I was like, fuck. But luckily, Drew, like my lifetime hype man, he'll like randomly tell people that at the bar. Yo, I saw this guy break a heavy bag one time. It's like, well, it was old, but
he blew that thing right off the chain.
Yeah. Anyway. Did you ever get hurt while working out?
Yeah, I actually didn't get hurt while working out. I got hurt while coaching.
Okay.
Another gym fail. This kid, who is now a professional baseball player, was front squatting a very heavy weight. He was a freshman, though. And this was a lesson that I learned, is never pair freshmen with freshmen, because much like when you got two idiots.
The blind leading the blind.
Yeah, it's blind leading the blind. Next thing you know, they're trying to light a cop car on fire. It's the same thing when they're lifting, except this time this kid goes down. He had 385 on for a front squat, which is an incredibly heavy weight for a front squat.
Yeah.
He was a 19-year-old kid.
Oh God.
His spotter. So the spotters were instructed that if the lifter hits the sticking point, count 1 Mississippi, tap them underneath their arm on the front squat, right, and they're going to know to drop out. So there's a very safe and effective way to get out of a front squat. You don't really need a spotter. We put the spotters in so that in case he fell backwards, they were there to push him forward. Kid gets stuck at the bottom of the squat. And I'm screaming at him. The whole room's like electrified because this savage is front squatting 385. His spotter is not abiding by the 1 Mississippi rule. So I smack the kid's arm in an effort to save this kid's back.
Mm-hmm.
I slap his arm. Well, I was the gym idiot, because you never spot from the front and you never coach from the front when they're in the rack. And this is something I learned as a young strength coach, because I tapped his arm. He drops it because he knew to drop it when he felt the tap on his arm, and he knew he was stuck. And the bar came down on my hand. So you see that my pinky here?
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Oh no.
That's it. So, and then all my fingernails, I lost all my fingernails. Like, it damaged the finger bed on so my whole left hand is jacked up. So if you look at all my wedding photos are with my fingers curled under, so you can't see my fingertips.
That hurts.
Because I'm missing like 3 fingernails.
I didn't have any like serious injuries. What I was saying at the beginning when we first started talking, it was probably like my second or third time really going to the gym. I was doing shoulder press with the dumbbells. So I had my buddy who was spotting me, but he was just kind of like lackadaisically like, yeah, I'm just making sure you don't die. But he didn't realize that I dislocated my both shoulders over the years, like over 10 times each.
Right.
Like, it's a recurring thing.
Yeah. Probably need surgery on it.
Probably. But, if I don't go to the doctor, they can't tell me that.
Roll the dice.
Yeah. It's all right now. I haven't done it in a while. But, I'm going up. I'm like halfway up, and I'm starting to get a little stuck. And, when you start getting tired with the dumbbells, there's nothing to keep you straight. Like, you just kind of wobble all over the place. And my right arm, it must have went back a little too far. And I felt it just like, it sounded like a crack.
Oh.
And I let go of the weight, thank God, and it like hit the back of my shoulder on the way down. I think it was only like a 60-pound dumbbell, but that's still enough to like.
It's enough to hurt you.
Yeah, and I felt it. It popped out of the socket, and then it kind of went back in as I dropped it down. I was like, "Well, I'm done. Don't ever talk to me again. You suck as a spotter. I'm gonna go die."
Yeah, you're fired.
And there was like people around, and when it cracked, it kind of went. You let out those involuntary noises. It's like,
it's better than,
Yeah. Oh, God help us. Turn into Saul Rosenberg in the gym. I'm trying to think if I've ever actually seen anybody else like really get hurt.
I saw a kid break his wrist one time.
Yeah?
Catching a clean.
He
was an idiot. It was his fault. 100% his fault.
Okay.
Mind you, so he had... The clean is a movement where you elevate the bar. So we were going from the hang, which is above the knees, and the bar is supposed to travel in a relatively vertical pathway.
For anybody listening who's not a gym rat,
Go to Google.
yeah, a hang clean is basically you're holding the barbell, you're holding it right in front of you, about your arms about shoulder width apart.
Yeah, arms maybe a little outside shoulder width, depending on your arm length, but I won't get into that.
So you're holding it standing straight up, and you basically have to pull the bar straight up, and then as you get all the way up, and your hands can't bend anymore, you flip your elbows under the bar and you catch it on top of your shoulders. Okay, so you watch it on YouTube, but that's more or less how it goes.
Yeah. And this kid, for some reason, 2 weeks prior to him breaking his wrist, instead of throwing the bar, instead of pulling the bar straight up in a vertical pathway, he decided to pull it behind him. And the bar came at his face. So his instinct was to drop to the floor. So we're like, all right, we got to watch him. Like, he's kind of an idiot. Mind you, he also had a .85 GPA at this point in time. So we knew he wasn't going to be with us for too long. So we're like, let's keep him safe. Well, next week he comes back at it and he's hyped up. He's like, yeah, I'm going to get it right this time. He pulls a bar, dives under it. And I don't know what the hell he did, but instead of driving his elbows through to receive the bar on his shoulders, he decided to just hang on to it, and he tried to receive the bar with his wrist, and it
all
just
the weight
snapped
just came
his
down.
left wrist. Yeah,
Yeah.
He was just yoked up. So he had a big cast on for the rest of the football season. Coach wasn't too happy.
I always see the people like the guys like the big swole motherfuckers at the gym. Always like, oh yeah, I tore my pec, my entire pec. I tore it. So they pull their shirt down and it's just like it looks like somebody painted purple all over their chest. Like Jesus, that's horrific.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had any horrific injuries like that. I remember when I got all right, let me backtrack a little bit here. When I was really serious going to the gym, after a breakup, it just gets serious. I had nothing but free time. I lived alone. It was just like that was all I did.
It's great.
I would read like the Men's Health magazine, so whatever like fad was going on, like that was what I wanted to try.
Get jacked like Terrell Owens.
Yeah, well, I remember there was an issue with Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy on the cover.
Yeah.
And that was how I discovered like the Bar Masters I work out, all the muscle ups and like the crazy calisthenic shit. So I wanted to figure out how to do a muscle up. And then I realized, all right, it's not about figuring out how to do it, it's just a matter of getting the motion down. So I started doing it. I was like, all right, I got it. And it was like the second time, and I was telling somebody, like, oh, watch, I'm going to show you how to do it. And they were with me, and they're like, all right, go ahead. So I went up, I'm hanging on the bar, and I go to pull up, and I just felt this, like, real bad pull in my right bicep. Thank God I didn't tear anything, but from, like, the top of my bicep all the way down just below my elbow joint, it was just useless. Like, it was just constantly sore. Didn't go to the doctor, like you do. And I look like an asshole because I didn't get the muscle up, needless to say.
Yeah. Well,
so they're like, oh, yeah, you're really doing good. That's really nice. But then eventually, you go back and you try again.
Did you ever get it?
Oh, I was doing them with the weighted vest on at one point.
Man.
But that was when I had nothing but time to dedicate to the gym. Now.
And a lot of hate.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you.
A lot of hate, man.
Listen, there's a lot to be said for going in the gym and just imagining you're in Star Wars, just hacking up motherfuckers with a lightsaber as I lay dying, like the heavy metal music.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they have a new album now. It just came out yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll pop it on tomorrow.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I love the little Spotify app, man.
Yeah.
You get access to everything.
I actually bought it.
You did? Like, did you buy a physical compact
No, like the
disc?
digital version.
Okay.
Like I buy them
Do they make compact discs anymore?
Not really. It's at this point that's like a dead technology.
Isn't it crazy like what's obsolete now versus like what we grew up on? DVDs,
Oh, yeah.
Blockbuster Video.
Bro,
Gone.
cassette tapes.
Sick because you can make a mixtape.
Yeah.
How you have playlists.
I used to record the shit off the radio.
Yes. Goo Goo Dolls, freshman year, man.
Do you know I still listen to Goo Goo Dolls?
They're great.
That first album, A Boy Named Goo, there's some fucking good songs on there, man.
They wrote some great. Goo Goo Dolls wrote great tunes.
Ain't That Unusual is still to this day. If I hear it, I will not skip it, no matter what. Even if I'm listening to any other genre, if that song comes on, I won't skip it. I don't know why. I just like it.
Hey,
And
You know-
Name is a good song.
Name is that was a song that was like my freshman year of high school. That was the song. I remember specifically recording that off of the radio, and I'm like, oh, this is my jam. I love this song.
I'm telling you, that's a dope album.
Yeah, they're good, man.
Yeah.
They're good. I actually another throwback. I saw Jimmy Eat World and Third Eye Blind this summer over at PNC. Third Eye Blind was sick.
Yeah, they have a couple. They had a couple slappers.
The problem with them,
I don't know if that's the kind of music you could really refer to as a slapper, but
no.
you know,
Yeah.
they had some good songs.
they had a couple good songs, and I was really disappointed because they did not open with Jumper.
You think they would really open with the song like
Why
that?
wouldn't they? They didn't close with it. They didn't even play it. It's like
They didn't play it at all?
they didn't play it.
Oh, that's a ripoff.
At least I don't remember because I probably got a little drunk. It was my birthday, so wife took me out.
I was taking a shit when that song was on.
Yeah.
They had a song off, I think it was that first album. It was called I Want You. Do you know it?
I think so. Oh man, I'm gonna listen to it. Spotify.
Go check it out on the way home. It's not. It's
check
like
it
more
out.
of like a slower tune.
Yeah.
Really, really good song.
They did a motorcycle. They did a documentary about that song, "Motorcycle Drive By,"
Yeah.
which is on that album as well, which is an incredible song.
When we were in our cover band, they used to have a guy that would fill in for me on bass for like shows I couldn't make because they would want to play like 5 nights a week if they could because I was the only one that had a legit real job. So I was like, listen guys, I don't want to play fucking Thursday nights because I still have to go to work on Friday.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, well, we'll just get somebody to fill in for you. And the guy that they had fill in for me he could actually sing. So I don't know why they just never replaced me with that guy, but he would sing Semi-Charmed Life. So that was like the song that they all learned to play that I never learned because I was never there for those shows.
Now the cover band, that was a thing, right? You were in it for a little bit, right?
Honestly, from the time we started it to the time I quit, it was not even a year and a half.
Okay.
But it was a fast year and a half, man, because
Did they continue on?
They're still around.
I thought so.
But the only original member is the
singer?
drummer.
No,
Singer's gone too.
Singer's gone.
Yeah,
It's just a drummer.
just a drummer. And they kept the name.
Jersey Shore, man. I bet they play like Bar A and
Oh, they play all those places. But that's
Yeah.
the people that are in that they're legit career musicians now. Like that's
Yeah.
what they do.
Yeah.
So I mean, whatever. I mean, it was a kind of an ugly departure from the band.
really.
Yeah, it was not good. But whatever. I'm not gonna waste time wishing ill on any of those people. Life will do its job. I don't have to waste time with it, you know.
Yeah, that's it. You got your friends.
Yeah. But when I was in that band, that was when I was like at my peak with working out.
Oh, I bet.
It was perfect too because you go out there, I would get home from work, shower and change real quick, and then go right to a show. And you're up, you saw us play. Like, we were up there sweating. It was like a workout on its own. And like I would just bring like a thing of like almonds with me, and that was like my snack. And I was eating super healthy. We would go to like diners at 1 a.m. I would just order an egg white omelet with chicken. Like that was what we would do.
That's awesome.
You had to learn to eat healthy with with very few options.
Yeah, in like the worst circumstances possible.
Yeah, and
like a diner in New Jersey. for
Well, in the
God's sake.
tri-state area,
Yeah.
you can always find a diner somewhere.
Yeah, and you know you're always fighting the urge to get the gravy fries.
Yeah.
I still am. Every time I go to the diner, I'm like, man, I could go for some gravy fries
Dude.
with mozzarella cheese.
Honestly, I don't know how I did it. Like I was eating crazy clean back then. Like I was in the best shape of my life, and I took it so seriously. And now it's like I can't even imagine how I did it. Like I know how to do it, but I don't know where I found the willpower because I don't have it right now.
Well, willpower is a funny thing because willpower is trainable.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely trainable, but it takes like that little voice that you have that used to be very loud when you said no. It takes it like that little voice needs to make a stand. It's like, I will not do this anymore. I know I don't have to because I've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do this.
It's funny. I just heard Bill Burr was talking about it recently this week, and he was saying that he's one of those people where when he was single, he was in good shape because he was able to remove the temptations from his life. Like he lived alone. You can choose what food is in the house.
Yeah.
Like I know if I have Oreos here, I'm going to eat the whole fucking thing. I can't just have 2.
In one night.
Yeah.
I'll eat a whole container.
Well, I'm the same way. And now I have a family. Like, of course we're going to have some junk food. I have a kid. Like the kid, he gets a snack. If he eats his dinner, he gets a snack. That's fine. There's no reason he shouldn't. But the problem is now I have to deal with that temptation.
There's no reason for you to have it.
Yeah, but I'm dealing with the temptation that I train myself, like when I set my life up so I didn't have to deal with it before.
Yeah.
So it's like I wasn't working that willpower muscle.
Right.
And now I'm in the situation where I need to, and it's not there.
It's all about controlling the variables.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm going through it right now with food. I have an incredible relationship with food where I just love it so much. And in my place of employment right now, we have unlimited access to food. I go over there for lunch, and it's, well, you can go to the hot station where they have chicken, rice, vegetables, or you can go over here where they have sandwiches, they have soups, they have salads, they have more pasta, they have everything. I can't control myself. I like to go to Flavor Town, so I want to taste everything. So I'll walk out of there after like 5 plates, and I'm just like, what did I just do to myself? Yeah. So now I had to control the variables. I bring my lunch, I sit in the office.
Yeah, I mean, when it really comes down to it, not everybody has that amount of willpower, especially when it comes to food. For some reason, that can make even the strongest men break. Yeah. But it's all about making good choices. And if you know you're going to make a bad choice, you take yourself out of that situation.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% know that if I go across the way, I'm going to eat the chicken corn chowder soup and a bowl of pasta, and I'm going to cry about it. Or I could just simply bring my lunch, eat it in the office, and if I feel I'm lacking something, all right, I'll go across the way because I know they have this. Mm-hmm. I need cheese for my burger. All right, I'll go get the cheese for my burger. But I'm coming back to the office. I'm going to eat it here, and that's that. Yeah. I catch a lot of flack, too. Because people at my place, like, they use lunchtime for, like, socialization. And if you don't participate in the lunch table, it's like, what, you think you're better than us?
Yeah, my job is like that, too. I don't care about
that. Yeah.
My job is like that, too. I like to sit and eat alone. I listen to whatever I'm listening to. I read whatever I got. And it's just like, well, what are you, like, antisocial? You don't want to come sit with everybody? Like, no, it's not that I don't like you guys. I just like being alone. Like, what's wrong with that?
I have far better conversations with myself than most people. And it's not because it's not them. It's totally me. It's that I don't love talking all the time.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like silence once in a while.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. All right, let's change it up a little bit. We're going to stick with the gym stuff, but we're going to take it in a slightly different direction. Do you ever try to talk to a girl or approach a girl at the gym, or vice versa, or been approached by one at the gym? Because I feel like a lot of guys, they always see, a lot of times you see very pretty girls at the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
And you think, well, when else am I going to get a chance to talk to her? But there's always a hesitation, like, maybe she doesn't want to be bothered here. And a lot of women have said as much.
Yeah, they don't want to be bothered.
It's kind of tough. Like, when else are you going to have an opportunity?
So, in the 2-part question, the question to answer number 1, has like a woman ever approached me? I don't think in my life a woman has ever approached me.
That's actually number 2, Mike.
I'm sorry. I look like a hybrid of a shrew and a bullfrog. So chicks really aren't into dudes who look like that. So usually no. When I'm in that setting, especially, like, they just leave me alone. And have I ever tried to pick someone up? I'm too awkward. I was too awkward in my 20s. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't form, like, I have this thing about me where I get red in the face and I feel very hot, like when I'm like talking and I'm uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So it's just a recipe for disaster.
Well, doubly so at the gym too, because after you've exerted yourself and you're a little frazzled afterwards, like I can't even talk to like another dude at the gym, like just casually. Like I say, my words don't come out any good, and like it doesn't make sense. Like, oh yeah, so what's going on with you? It's like, oh, fine. What? No, I'm sorry. I don't know. I need to collect myself before I speak. Yeah. So that's probably not the best place. I
have an embarrassing encounter.
Okay.
It happened. I was working at a restaurant, and there was a girl who worked at the restaurant who I was like, oh, she's definitely really attractive. And I saw her at the gym, and I went up to her and I started talking to her, and I realized, like, I was so nervous to talk to her that I started making up vocabulary words. And I'm like, what the fuck did I walked away from that. I'm like, oh, I'm never talking to this person again.
Who do I think I was? Bill Shakespeare?
I'm like, this is a disaster, man. Like, the pickup game was never up my alley.
That's a tough setting. Because I feel like you don't want to, like, any reasonable person doesn't want to come off like one of those douchebags. There's a girl, sitting on like what's that leg machine where your legs are open and you're trying to close them?
Oh, the adductor machine, the adductor and the abductor machine.
There's always some like creepy guy trying to talk to a girl while she's on that.
Yeah, and he's
like,
posted up. He's posted up like where the clamshell's open and he's looking. Oh, what's going on over there? So how was your weekend?
You look fit, ma'am. Yeah, you look fit, man. Just creeps. And it's like the guy's like, what? I wasn't doing anything. It's like, we all know what you were doing. Like, you're such a fucking creep, dude. Stop it. Go walk away. Yeah. But I don't want to be like that. I never wanted to be like that. Yeah. I've never approached a girl at the gym. I've seen girls at the gym and then randomly seen them out places. And then that's like, okay, maybe that's an in to start a conversation that way. Right. But like at the gym, it's tough. I've been approached one time. One time, years ago, at the time I had a girlfriend and she didn't go to my gym. And there was a lady that went to my gym. And like I would see her around, like we knew the same people, like mutual friends. And she, we ended up knowing each other. We would talk, small talk, nothing big. And she was asked, oh yeah, so I would like talk about my girlfriend too. And she would be like, yeah, so I have this party going on this weekend. If you wanted to come by. And I was like, oh, okay. What kind of party? She's like, oh, no, it's not my party. It's like a friend's. I need somebody to go with. I'm like, oh, and in my head, you're talking about bringing me as a date. I'm like, I have a girlfriend, right? Oh, well, I didn't think it was serious. Oh, okay, well, sorry. I mean, it is. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, no, it's no big deal. Like, it was, good for you. It was awkward.
Yeah, but more on her part.
It was awkward on her part, but it was awkward on my part too, because if I had been single, I would have taken her up on it. Yeah. She was very attractive. Yeah. And it was just kind of like, oh, now it's just this weird feeling. Like, I don't know, can I say hi anymore?
Yeah. And does she feel rejected?
Yeah, like...
See, sometimes, though, I think it just benefits everybody if you're just like, look, I got a girlfriend. If I didn't have a girlfriend, I'd totally go to that party with you. But unfortunately, I do. So this is where we're at.
Yeah. I mean, really, that is the only thing you can do, and that's essentially what it ended up being. But it's all this like tension that we make up in our head. You know what I mean? God, like it's all imagined. You could both just be like, "Oh, okay, no big deal," and then forget about it. But that's not what we do as human beings. No. I've had ex-girlfriends at the gym.
I have too.
I had an ex-girlfriend that like really like, broke my heart. And then, like, years later, she ended up showing up in my gym randomly. And I remember there was a dude at my gym, this guy, Justin. And he was like, oh, check out that girl on the treadmill. I was like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh, my God, dude. I had, like, a panic attack for a second. I thought that was one of my ex-girlfriends. He's like, oh, really? And he laughed. So I was like, yeah, no, whatever. Stupid me, right? And I started walking over closer to where she was. And I was like, oh, fuck, that really is her. Really is her. That was awkward.
I can actually share that sentiment. And this is an incredible story. And the last time I was here, I alluded to this.
Okay.
So, I was dating a girl. I was in the height of like jujitsu, going back to school, going to become a strength coach. Like I care about all this stuff. And I was dating someone, and she was incredible because she pushed me. She's like, you got to go back to school, and you're too smart to not be settled in and know where you're going at this point. Like, you got this. I got your back. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I started going to the gym. She's like, I'm not really feeling great about where I'm at, like how I feel or how I look. I'm like, well, you know what? I'll do you a solid. I will include you on my gym membership. We will get a family plan, and you can go to the gym that I go to. You don't have to go when I go. And that opened up the door for a personal trainer at that gym. And they formed a bond and a friendship. Her and I dissolved. Our relationship dissolved.
Now, the personal trainer was a guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They start dating. They got married, and then they got divorced. And I'll never forget, about a year and a half after we broke up, I was still working out at the gym, and it was what it was, and I knew that they were dating, and that was their thing. I'm running on the treadmill. It's like 8:40 p.m., and she strolls in. I'm like, fuck this. I'm turning up here. I went on like an hour-long, like, savage beating of my body on that treadmill. I walked off, and that was the only time I ever really saw her there. But yeah, it was one of those moments where it's like you have Like, I was so pissed off at the time, like, about it. And looking back on it, it's like, should I really have been that mad? No. Is my life exponentially better since then? Yeah, of course. But in that moment, I didn't know it was how things were going to shake out, man. I just knew that in the moment, I needed to crush that treadmill.
Yeah, you can't help how you feel, especially when it, like, something like that where it, like, brings back, like, old memories. Like,
yeah.
I like when the girl, my ex-girlfriend, was at the gym. Like, now I have to find an excuse. Oh, I'm gonna go in the back. I'm gonna hit the speed bag. Kind of try to show off. Yeah, see what I can do. Yeah,
look at this cool parlor trick I got.
Yeah, guess who's thriving, huh?
I'm not surviving, I swear.
Yeah, look who's not crying now, huh? Yeah. But listen, we're human beings. It happens, and when those old memories get stirred up, you can't help it. But what you can help is how you react. Like, you can feel the way you feel. But as long as you, carry your comport yourself. What's the word I'm looking for? As long as you behave,
composure. Yeah, like
as long as you remain composed and you don't act like a douchebag and say something rude or whatever. Like, listen, okay, it is what it is. We're grown ups here. It is fine. Bye. Have a nice life.
Yeah.
Enjoy your divorce. It's fine.
Yeah. And it is what it is, man. Although I was really good about still not being a dick to him, despite the fact that, like, he was one of the most unlikable people I'd ever met. And this was before. And then there was one time where I did take a shot at him. And it was like very apparent. He's like, oh, you've been working out really hard lately. I was getting ready for a jiu-jitsu competition. He's like, you look great. So I was like, well, if you pay me $25, you can get a ride, big boy. And I just walked out like I thought it was funny, but at the same time, it's like, wait, I probably just came across like a real asshole.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Nobody's getting hurt. At least you didn't actually take a shot at him.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you could have actually hurt the guy if you wanted it to.
Yeah.
So,
who knows?
Good on you.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I think the gym's great for that, like fueling your frustrations and taking it out, whether it's a treadmill, a barbell, a dumbbell, or a yoga
I feel
mat.
like getting psyched up just talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just going on that. Oh, excuse me. You know that feeling when you, like, literally scream as loud as you can? Like, when say you get mad, you're in the car, and you're like, ah! You know no one's going to hear you like that. That's what I'm imagining in my head. So in my head, I'm doing that. But outside, I'm just like a robot. I'm just straight-faced, running. But in my head, it's just like murder and, like, death and screaming and violence. And then outside, oh, everything is fine. And then you get off, and you're clear. You're like Buddha. Everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
And look, nobody got hurt. You bettered yourself in a way. Like, it's a win-win. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're not taking out your aggression on people you love, people that are close to you.
Yeah.
I just don't see, I can't think of a better outlet for all your bad thoughts and negativity.
It's probably like the most incredible place to be. Right now, I'm revisiting like a lot of like late 90s punk rock. Mm-hmm. And there's a band called Hot Water Music.
Of course.
Yes. And they had an album
Shout out to Charles Bukowski, by the way, for...
Yeah.
That was the name of his book. One of his books.
And they have a song. They had an album called Fuel for the Hate Game.
Okay.
And there's a song on their Turnstile that I listen to every time I'm about to lift heavy. And it's all about just finding your inner power and your inner competency through getting super pissed off.
Okay.
And that epitomizes like my experience at the gym. Even to this day, I lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm looking forward to it. Like tomorrow, I know I'm walking in there. I'm like, I'm out for blood right now, especially talking about it.
Everybody's got that one song though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That really channels it. For me, it was Karma by Parkway Drive.
Okay.
And it's just the lyrics are perfect for it. Like the one part of the song, it says, "This is a strength born in misery, a perfect cut of this insanity. I fight my way from the gates of hell." It's not, I think I left out a part, but either way, like that's, and it's like, ah!
Yeah.
You know? Shout out to Parkway Drive. I mean, I know not, hardcore music is not everybody's cup of tea, but it really gets the job done when you need it to.
It really does, man.
Hot Water Music. Didn't they have a song called Seeing Diamonds?
Yes. Hold on.
That's like the only song I think I know by them. And it might not even be them, but it was really good.
Ironically enough, the bassist from Hot Water Music later became the bassist of Census Fail for some time after Mike Galita left.
Really?
Yeah.
Census fail. Those were the days, huh?
Yeah, that was fun. Actually, the whole like Midtown into census fail thing was crazy because behind the scenes, after Midtown like broke up and didn't tell anyone they broke up, Heath was like, my brother was freaking out. Like, what the hell am I going to do? He was like interviewing for jobs, and then at the same time, census fail kicked their guitarist out, and they needed one. They needed a temp, so they called Heath. And then he practiced with them, and it was probably after their second practice. I'm friends with Garrett. I was talking to Garrett about it, and he's like, dude, after practice number 2, we're like, that's the guy for our band.
Yeah. He was so cool, man. We only played 2 shows with him, and he was just like super laid back. He was just like, listen, man, whatever works. Because we played with him 2 nights in a row. Were you at the show we played with him in Philly?
Were you?
It was right before.
Was it TLA?
No. It was right when... right before Still Searching actually dropped. Like, they released the first
single. I
single.
wasn't there.
I remember seeing you in like the picture. I don't know, I might be imagining it. Either way, but we were just opening for them two nights. They were doing like warm-up shows. And the first night we did really well was in Hoboken, and the second night we played in Philly at the North Star. It was some weird place. But
the North Star.
Yeah, and we sucked it up the second night. Like, it was just, it was a bad night for us. And your brother was just so, yeah, whatever, man, it happens. Don't worry about it. He was just cool. Like, he didn't care. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, it happens.
He doesn't. He's probably like the nicest dude out of our entire family. He's definitely the nicest out of all of us. And he never cared. He just what's important to Heath is just having fun. Yeah. We had incredible times on the road with that man. I'll never forget. They played the Electric Factory one night, in Philly, and then they were playing Atlantic City the next day. They were on tour with Newfound Glory at the time.
I saw them on that tour at Croc Rock in Allentown.
Dude, that was the night that my buddy and I drove out there. We started there, and then we continued like the whole weekend. We had our buddy. Shout out to Matt Bates. He was like a professional snowboarder who just turned into this madman, lost all of his money. He made like a good amount of money snowboarding, lost it all, invested his last bit of his last coin into one of his buddy's businesses that took off, and now he's a multimillionaire. He gave this kid $50,000, and the kid turned it into millions for him. So Matt Bates is on the road with us, and we're going to town. He painted his face with marker. Matt Slattery was dressed up as a penguin. I'm sorry to be dropping names, but
that's right. Shout out to Matt.
Shout out to Matt. But like it was one of the most just guys being stupid and having fun and completely harmless. It
just
was
being
one of
silly
the most
and
fun
having
times.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember with that show that I went to in Allentown. I took my sister, like my kid's sister, with me. I'm like, oh yeah, I know a couple of the guys. Like, we'll go see them. And she's like, oh, census fail. I was like, I mean, hang on. Like, I know them. I can't guarantee they're gonna remember me.
Yeah.
So we went out there. Jeff O came with us.
Yep.
So we saw Glitter there at the show, and he's like, oh yeah, you guys want to stop on the bus, say hi? I was like, yeah, let's go. And my sister's like, oh. So we go on, and it just so happens here comes Dan out of the back with like a Hawaiian shirt open, and he had like marker written all over his bare chest. And I was like, and he's got like a tissue sticking out of his nose. Like, I was like, what the fuck happened here, man?
Dan.
They had Bedlight for Blue Eyes opening for him on that tour.
Yes. Yeah.
Who was it?
Berkeley. They were Berkeley Heights, right?
Yeah.
Bedlights at Berkeley Heights.
They were Berkeley Heights, but they were always playing in Bridgewater. Like, they were always played like Hamilton Street when it was open. Yeah. And then at Sparks, we played like a million shows with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was. I mean, that was a funny experience on the bus. I was like, yeah, is it all right if I bring my sister here?
Dude, they have a Instagram, the NJ Pop Punk Archives.
Mm-hmm.
They have everything, like videos of shows that that go back all the way to like 1996, and there's like a ton of Bedlight stuff. Like, it's pretty impressive that the New Jersey pop punk scene has been pretty well preserved.
That was a fun time, man. Like that entire scene.
Yeah, it was the first time I actually felt cool being anywhere, and it wasn't because of anything I did. Like, people were literally only nice to me because Heath was in a band. But, I took it. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'm like Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it's like any attention he gets, he enjoys it. That's me. But I also don't enjoy it at the same time. I'm just an interesting person.
All right, well,
All right, man.
we got a little off the beaten path.
Sorry, dude.
No, that's good. Listen, I enjoy talking about that shit. I'm gonna do another band episode. Actually, he's planted the seed in my head.
All right.
We're gonna do it. Got to get Fido in here. Fido's probably got some crazy stories.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fido. He's not listening, but whatever. Let's put a cap on it until
All right,
next
man.
time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry. I hope we stayed somewhat on topic.
Nah, listen, bro. We're just having we're bullshitting here. This is
Yeah.
supposed to be a fun one, laid back.
Yeah,
you know?
this is good.
Like I said, we're enjoying the conversation. All right, and for anybody else out there, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If not, well, we got you. We got you on this one. You downloaded and we got you. What do you want me to say?
How's your viewer or your listeners from India doing?
I don't know. They didn't reach out to me.
They haven't reached out to you.
I know somebody downloaded something. Could have been somebody at an airport traveling for all I know. I don't know.
Who knows?
But I got Turkey now. Turkey's cool.
Respect.
Both of them. It's not like we're a big hit in that scene. I noticed that there were a few there. We broke into Australia. I got a handful in Australia now, which is pretty cool.
They're lunatics.
I know. I love it.
They're crazy.
I want them to reach out. But
Dude, guys, reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out. Interact. Follow them on Instagram.
Most of the people that reach out are all stateside, though.
Right.
But I got some cool fucking dudes, man. Some cool dudes listening. Yeah. Showing support. Even
awesome.
The other podcasts that show support. Shout out to them because it's a nice community. Everybody's super super legit, super cool.
That's awesome.
Super friendly.
Um,
Haven't had any assholes yet, which is awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good because there's a lot of them out there, and they can fuck off.
Yeah, but you know what though? I mean, eventually they're gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Just keep doing what we do.
Yep.
So, okay. Again, man, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I love having you here. It's always a good conversation.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
And all the listeners, thank you guys for downloading, for streaming. It's always appreciated. Make sure you reach out to us, though. We want to hear from you. So, as always, you know where to find us at APodAmongstMen on Instagram, APodAmongstMen@gmail.com. Reach out, like we said. We want to hear anything you have to say, suggestions, comments. We love it all. And you know where to find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. Who fucking uses Stitcher? I don't know.
There's no excuse to not listen.
Yeah, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. You know where it is. But we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we hear from you before then. Peace.